That was the start of my real skincare journey, figuring out what my skin needed in this new environment, learning to make smarter choices on my budget, and unlearning a few habits I didn't even know were holding me back. So, in this video, I want to share some of the biggest skincare mistakes I made in my 20s. Yes, black can crack. I said it, black skin can crack. Today's video, I'm going into skincare mistakes I made in my 20s. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emily. I am a trained beauty therapist with over 15 years of experience in beauty. I can help you curate a skincare routine that works just for you. Guys, I remember when I moved from Zimbabwe to Australia. Actually, I already had training in cosmetology. They called it cosmetology back then. We call it beauty therapy here. Back home, it was called cosmetology, and I had already done a 3 year training in cosmetology. I understood the science of skin and the importance of a routine, but the truth is, back home, we didn't have the variety of skincare products we see in stores here. And even when we did, they weren't always affordable or accessible. So here I am in my 20s, landed in Australia just after I turned 21. I was overwhelmed in the most best way possible. Suddenly, I had access to everything, brands I had only heard about, ingredients I had studied but never used. It felt like a whole new world, but I was still working with a tight budget. And even though I believed in the less is more philosophy, I wasn't exactly using high quality products to start with. And while my skin wasn't terrible, I didn't deal with major breakouts or anything like that. I also wasn't glowing either. My skin looked tired, flat, like it had potential but wasn't quite there yet. That was the start of my real skincare journey, figuring out what my skin needed in this new environment, learning to make smarter choices on my budget, and unlearning a few habits I didn't even know were holding me back. So in this video, I want to share some of the biggest skincare mistakes I made in my 20s. Not out of shame, but because I know how many of us are just trying to figure it out as we go as well. Especially if you're a person of color, we are often left out when it comes to skincare conversations. So much advice out there isn't tailored to our skin concerns. Things like hyperpigmentation, inflammation, or just the myth that black don't crack means we don't have to do anything. No, we do. We just need to do the right things. Let's talk about what I wish I had known sooner. And we're going to mistake number one. I used a lot but not using what worked for me. When I first got access to more skincare in Australia, I wanted to try everything. I was shopping based on price and hype, not the actual skincare need. The results, I had a routine, but it wasn't doing much. For dark skin, especially if you are prone to dryness or downness like I was back then, it's not just about using products, it's about using the right ingredients at the right strength and for your skin type and your skin tone. Now I focus on targeting gentle products that support my skin barrier, fade hyperpigmentation slowly, and keep my skin nourished without overcomplicating things. I learned the hardest way that you can't just go full on with some of these products. And then mistake number two that I made in my 20s, treating sunscreen like it was an option. In 2008, that is when I first moved to Australia, I wasn't wearing sunscreen. I had not even worn sunscreen anyway. And to be honest, when I then finally moved here, I didn't wear sunscreen because I had reasons. It was too greasy. It was chalky. It made me look like I had lost a fight with a bag of flour. It was just a lot. On top of that, I was fully hiding behind the myth that, you know what, God had blessed me and packaged me with enough protection, this melanin that can handle the sun. I totally believe that, even though I was trained, I was like, no, I don't need it. I don't need sunscreen. I can just go out without the sunscreen. But let me tell you something. The Australian sun does not care. It doesn't care. what color you are. The truth is, yes, darker skin doesn't burn as easily, but we do get UV damage. And for us, that damage usually shows up as hyperpigmentation and uneven tone that takes forever to fade. Now, sunscreen is a non negotiable in my routine. Rain or shine, indoors or outside, I look for formulas that don't need a white cast, formulas that don't make me want to wipe it off the minute I apply it. It took me some trial and error, but once I found a formula that worked, was a game changer. My skin got more even. I started getting the glow coming through, and I finally understood why sunscreen is the step you don't want to skip. But let me just add here that we've come a long way, especially here in Australia, to finally get sunscreens that work on darker skin tone without leaving that gray cast, without making us look more oilier than we actually are. So now there's a variety you can choose from out there so that you can avoid the mistake of not wearing sunscreen. And then mistake number 3, I used to over cleanse my face and over exfoliate it in my 20s. My goal to exfoliate that time was, the one I'm talking about, the St. Ives apricot scrub. And I used it with confidence, you guys. That's what I could afford. It felt gritty, it smelled nice, and it gave me that tight, squeaky, clean feeling. And you look like you're glowing, but you're not. And it just damaged my skin barrier. I was exfoliating too hard, too often, and with the wrong kind of product. And here is what I didn't realize. Black skin is more prone to inflammation, and harsh scrubs like that can actually make texture and downness and sensitivity worse. On top of that, black skin also loses water faster, which means every time I went in with that scrub, I was setting my moisture barrier back even further, just more dehydration. Now I've moved on to much gentler exfoliants, maybe twice or 3 times max, and only with products that support hydration, that do not strip away, and that do not punish my barrier. I just use it slowly with consistency and care, and I've got a lot more respect for my skin barrier now because I know I was irritated when I was using the scrub. And mistake number 4 that I made in my 20s was underestimating moisturizer. Well, I had some knowledge about skincare. I wasn't clueless, but because I have combination to oily skin, I'm slightly ashamed to admit this actually. But I used to skip moisturizer, like intentionally actually. I would literally tell myself the skin is a self-regulating organ. It sheds, renews, and knows how to balance itself. This is technically true, but that doesn't mean it doesn't need some support. I thought my skin is not dry or flaky. I've just got good skin. I drink water. I am fine. To be honest, my skin wasn't too bad. So I felt like, oh yeah, what's the point? Usually I'll wear moisturizer at night. How weird was that? And then skip it all throughout the day. I didn't know then that black skin naturally has fewer ceramides, those little lipids that help hold moisture in and keep the skin barrier strong. So if anything, we should be leaning into moisturizers even more because melanin is powerful, but it is not a moisturizer. It doesn't make us immune to dehydration or barrier damage or premature aging. Let's all put this phrase to bed that black doesn't crack. I have seen black crack, like musty, dusty, crusty, and downright ashy. Black can crack. You have to look after your skin. Using the right moisturizers that support hydration and barrier repair, like ceramides, circling, glycerin, all that good stuff, your future skin will definitely thank you. And that leads me to the last mistake that I made in my 20s when it came to skincare, thinking that my lifestyle didn't affect my skin. In my 20s, I stayed up late, I didn't drink enough water, and I stressed over everything. I thought skincare alone could fix all of that, but my skin reflected my internal health. Stress related inflammation can manifest as a flare up, dullness, or stubborn marks. Now I take a lot more holistic approach to my skin. Like, I focus on hydrating internally. I drink electrolytes every morning to help my body hold on to that water, and I prioritize resting. I take some vitamins. I move my body a lot. I try to exercise because it's all part of that skincare routine. I remember sleeping late so much when I was in my 20s. We would go out. I was in uni, no care in the world, but now I'm a little bit more intentional with the way I look after my body because it reflects on the skin. The skin is usually one organ on the body that gets neglected when we are not very healthy. If you look at someone's skin, you can tell if their health is in a good place or not because the skin just really tells that story. And then mistake number 6, I followed every trend, even trends that were not even made for me. Now let me be very clear, we've all made this mistake, just buying something because of the hype. A very good example of a product that hit the market by storm was the ordinary red pill. I don't know if you remember that one. It promised everything I needed. It promised to reduce oil, to give glass skin, to brighten the skin tone. I was sold, and I saw it everywhere on social media. And again, I deal with oiliness and congested pores. I was like, yes, this is what I need. And by the time the ordinary came to the market, I think it was around 2017. I was already 31. I wasn't new to skincare, but the hype was everywhere. This one promised instant results, and I'm here. I can swear I fell for it. That pill had 30% AHAs and 2% BHA, which is extremely strong for at-home treatment. You know what? Thank God the Australian government has banned, it has stopped anything over 2% salicylic acid to be sold over the counter. Now you cannot just walk into a store and buy a strong formula like that. You have to have it done in clinic or as a prescription. These are considered way too harsh for at-home use unless prescribed or used in clinics. You can't, 20% salicylic acid was a lot. And this pill, it's not even sold here anymore because of how strong it is. Now I don't just buy what's popular. I look at the ingredients like the climate I'm living in and my actual skin concerns, because this is a mistake that should be avoided at any age. I'm sure you pretty much remember the ordinary red pill, skin pill. That was a lot. Thank God it's gone. Anyway, we're moving on to mistake number 7, thinking that skincare was just topical during my 20s. I was studying to become a nurse and working on the side, long shifts, night shifts, and barely sleeping and always on my feet. Then I became a young mom. When I was 25, my days were full. My nights were short, and skincare, it just wasn't a priority anymore. You forget yourself when you're pouring into everything and everyone else. And I know I wasn't alone. A lot of us in our 20s are broke, working hard to build careers, probably starting families or doing 1 or 2 jobs. We eat whatever we can grab. We drink a lot, but sometimes too much. And the bouncing back takes forever. For the bouncing back when you're in your 20s, it's fast. You bounce back fast. You're more negligent with your health. And because we are young, our skin seems like it's coping, but it's not. The recovery when you're in your 20s is faster on your skin, but as you age, it takes time. What I didn't realize back then is that skincare isn't just what you apply, it's how you rest, how you hydrate, what you put in your body, how you manage your stress as well. I thought a serum would fix everything, but the truth is my skin was showing signs of my lifestyle, not just my product choices. Now I take a lot more of a holistic approach. I still love good skincare, but I also sleep more. I eat intentionally. I take all kinds of things to help and support my health, because glowing skin starts with how you look after yourself, not just what you put on your face. So those are the biggest mistakes I learned the hard way when I was in my 20s. I hope if you've listened throughout the video, you will probably avoid these mistakes as well. I want to hear your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to look after your skin, because you really, really, really deserve it.